Hello guys, my name is Jacqueline Van Bierk. I'm a singer, songwriter, I'm an artist, I'm a film TV composer, and just a lover of life for the most part. Well, here is my story. I've been living in Los Angeles since 2003. Yes, what a gorgeous view. I had a band called Otto's Daughter, and we did a lot of amazing things here in Hollywood. We toured the US several times. We've had our music in film TV shows. I've been composing for many reality TV shows and had semi-great success with that. However, after I broke up my band, I ended my relationship, I really found myself extremely empty and depressed and just thinking, okay, something is just missing. And so I decided that I want to travel. I need to get out of here and see what else is out there. And honestly, when I first thought about it, all I knew is like, I lived in New York before I moved to LA, and I had the idea of maybe I'm gonna move back to New York, because New York to me in my heart has always been my home, and that was the initial actual goal. So, but I figured also with my dog, it's always been my dream to travel with my dog and just go all over the place with him. So I booked my flight, and that was about a year ago. I booked my flight to New York. And honestly, guys, I started crying because I knew it felt so right. Nothing felt as right as that. And besides all of that, so I told a bunch of my friends that I'm just gonna leave. I told my mom, I'm from Germany originally, so I decided to just gonna go to Europe for 3 months, take my dog and visit my mom, stay with her for a month, celebrating Christmas and her birthday, and then I'm gonna just spend some time in Berlin, which was one of the other places that I would love to spend more time at, and also pursue some opportunities music-wise. Long story short, I booked everything and found out my mom had cancer. So it was a blessing in disguise that I already had booked my flight for 3 months. And I told a friend of mine, and I think that was even before I knew about my mom, but I told a friend in the park, I said, you know, I decided I'm gonna leave LA for 3 months. I just need to get out of here. And she said, what are you gonna do with the apartment? I said, I honestly don't know, because I can't justify paying the rent and not being here. So I may just have to let my apartment go unless I find somebody who wants to rent my place. And I've rented out my place before when I would go on tour with my band. She said, well, I have a friend who is currently looking for a place. He's about to sign a lease, but he's having problems with the lease. So it's a good chance that he may want your place, because your place is way more affordable. And his current thing might not work out regardless. So I got on the phone with him. Not even 5 minutes later, she connected us. And he came over a couple of days later to check out the place. And he is a clothing designer and a tailor for many stars in Hollywood. He loved the place, and he was like, okay, I'm in. I want to do this. However, 3 months is not a long time for me to set up shop here and work, so I don't know if that's going to work out. But I'll think about it. And I didn't even hesitate, and I said, you know what? Yeah, make it 6 months. How about that? I'm gonna come back in July. Like, I'll come back to the States in March, and then I'll spend some time in Michigan, which I already had planned to go anywhere anyway. So I was like, well, might as well just stay out, right? And it's just amazing how everything worked out. Then, of course, with COVID, everything got changed. Nothing was going as planned, but everything was exactly going as it was meant to be, because I wasn't able to fly back home in March, and I would have not even been wanting to fly home back in March because my mom was still not well. And I said, I'm not gonna leave until I know you're well, until I have a coffee with you, until you can speak. My mom had cancer in her throat. They pretty much cut like a whole jaw open and took a whole chunk out, and she had a track in her throat. She was being fed through a tube. That was almost, both of those things were almost in her body for like a year. She just had it removed about 3 weeks ago. And so she wasn't able to talk for like 5-6 months. It was really hard. It was really the hardest time I've ever gone through in my life, and the most rewarding time, and a time where I really learned my own strength and selflessness. Pretty much left everything to nurture my mom back to health. So I spent at least 4 months on and off in the hospital with her, taking her to her treatments, making sure everything is changed out of her track, and just being her nurse basically. And if you would have asked me to do that, if I'm capable of doing that, I would have told you definitely not. And I was. See, we are capable of a lot when we realize that, when we love someone and we care about someone, you really suddenly realize how much you love someone when they're fighting kind of for their life, and when they have to depend on you, and what a beautiful gift that is for us to do that. I could have honestly, I would have felt horrible if I would have not been there. I saw so many people in hospitals being alone, not having anyone, and I was doing a lot of things that the nurses didn't even do, even though it was kind of their job. So that was the biggest blessing for me, to be able to be there for her. And I know friends were saying, what you're doing is so incredible, and it must be so hard. And I was thinking, why are they trying to feel sorry for me? Like, I am taking care of my mom. My mom took care of me for a long time while I was a baby. I think that's the least I can do, bringing my mom back to being healthy and being there for her emotionally, physically, helping her with whatever she needs to help with. That is just, it was very rewarding. It was draining sometimes. It was frustrating at times. It was not easy, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. When someone said, you shouldn't be doing that, a nurse should be doing that. And I thought, why? If I am here, why would I not do that? Why would I not be there for her and take care of her? That is just such an absurd thing for anyone to say, and to think that, that's not your job. Of course it's not my job. It's not our job to love anyone, to care for anyone. It's not a job. It's something that comes from within. It's something that you want to do because it's within. It's love. It's caring. That's what it's all about, right? So having been there was the biggest blessing, for sure. COVID happened. I stayed until she was better, until she was able to speak, until we were able to have a coffee together. She was eating on her own. Came back, spent a few weeks in New York doing my mandatory quarantine. That was actually, I was being monitored for 14 days. And then I spent 2 months in Michigan, which I've been wanting to do for a long time. And then I slowly made my way back to Los Angeles, visiting some other friends, stopping in St. Louis, in Grand Rapids, in Oklahoma, and in Arizona. And I am back in Los Angeles. So I want to share the story. Why? I realized I was really enjoying life. I wasn't really working because there was no work anyway. I was just really making time for me and my dog and doing the things I enjoy the most, which is being out in nature, spending time with people that matter to me. And I've experienced so much love from my dearest friends that I never expected any of this to happen. And I realized this was a dream of mine. It was a dream of mine to just take off. And I took a leap of faith. I didn't have it planned. I didn't worry about. I was ready to let it all go, and I let a lot of stuff go. I let a lot of my clothes go. I let a lot of things go that when I came back, I was like, I can't believe I let that go. You know, jackets and whatever, just like, well, but it doesn't matter. What mattered is that I followed my intuition, that I took a leap, that I put myself first, that I unchained myself from all the things I became a slave to. My job, this apartment, my daily routines. It was choking me. I couldn't, it felt suffocating to me to constantly do the same thing. And I sat in my apartment before I booked a flight to New York, and I said to myself, if I'm going to be here in the same spot 10 years from now, you know, always seeing the same people, it is beautiful to have a community, but I need change of scenery. I need change of activities, you know. And I mean, if not saying that I can't be with a certain group of people consistently, I can, and I do, and I will. But it was something about this place. And it's funny coming back. Even a few days ago, I was walking around IKEA, and I got this heavy sense of sadness coming over me that reminded me of that darkness, that depression I felt when I was here before. That this city is so beautiful, and it can be so rewarding for some. It really works for some people, but it's also very lonely and a very fake place. And if you don't have people around you that you can rely on, you know, it can become very lonely. And so, being back, I want to be extremely creative, and I've been struggling a little bit because I have so many things to do, and I'm still kind of like, it's funny, I felt more home in other places than being back in my own home, where I just had to do certain things to just kind of like settle back in and be centered and be able to focus. And also think about, what do I want to do next? Because do I want to step back into the exact same thing I did before I left, you know? But I wanted to share the story. When you set an intention, when you really follow your intuition, that you really can do the things that you think are impossible. Because so often we think about, we can't afford this, we have responsibility. There's always excuses why we can't do things. And I've had them, certainly did. But the truth is, there are no excuses when you make up your mind. when you get clarity on what you want, and honestly, I wasn't even 100% what exactly I wanted. And when I say that, that's not even true, because what I really wanted was freedom. What I wanted was to just leave, explore, go on an adventure, let go of the old, of going to the same place 3 times a week for the past 7 to 10 years, on and off, to go to the same park pretty much every day, which honestly I changed it up anyway, but it was just, I knew that. I didn't know exactly what that meant, but I knew that. And I ended up exploring, going to some places, visiting friends, even in Germany during the pandemic. And then I did the same thing here. And so my goal right now is the same kind of thing. I'm just gonna work on manifesting work, the work that I appreciate, the work that I love, the work that is all the work effortless, because whatever I do, I love doing, so it's effortless. And I want to share and spread that and help other people do the same thing, because we all deserve it. We live in such an uncertain time, and not only in an uncertain time, but in a time where we are being scared, we're being told what we can and cannot do, and it's becoming pretty fucking insane. And I don't care what your beliefs are, political, religious, whatever. If you don't see what's happening, it's crazy. And we need to stop that frequency. We need to stop just trusting and believing and obeying. Because if you don't rebel, and when I'm talking about rebelling, I'm talking about free thinkers. I'm talking about people who are just fed up with government in general. People who are realizing that we are free people and we have a right to live our lives, and to be told, where we cannot go and what we cannot do. I'm not saying that we should not be cautious during times of the pandemic, but what I'm saying is there is a vast over-exaggeration and policing that goes beyond the pandemic. And that's just my view. I mean, I was hiking today in Running Canyon, and actually, so there's a big loop that we do, and you go up the hill and then you come back down on the other side. It's like a loop, and going up all the way on top and then you come back down, there was a sign that said private property, you're not allowed to go there. My friend pointed it out to me. She's like, you can't go there. And I said, fuck that, I've always gone that way. That's not private property, that's the freaking Runyon Canyon Park. And then I saw other people going there as well. And I'm like, okay, yeah, exactly. I'm going to go there. I don't care. They were trying to fence it off, and they were trying for people to not walk that way. It's been like this forever. There's always been a loop. And now they were trying to stop the loop. And the funny thing is, people are not, thankfully, they don't turn around. They're like, no, this is the loop. You can't tell us this is private property. But those are like the subtle little fine things that you see. It's the same as someone telling you cannot have a Thanksgiving party with your friends, making up all these rules. It's I'm telling you guys, this is just crazy. But I don't want to get too deep into that, because I just want to talk about manifesting what you want and following your intuition and listening to your inner voice, and not to all the crap that's being broadcast to you. Because what's happening is you get so cluttered, you get so confused in your mind that you don't even know which way to turn, and you become either numb or just on automatic. You just do whatever you're being told. And honestly, that's very dangerous. position to be in. That's my message for you guys. So look out for, I'm gonna write a book about it, but it's gonna take some time, obviously. But I want to do some workshops on how I can help you to do an amazing vision board to bring your dreams and visions into reality. The power of affirmations, manifesting, and also learning to really trust and follow your intuition more. So there's a lot of stuff coming up that are in the works. But one thing at a time. Sorry, it's been a little bit long, but I wanted to get that out because it's an important message. And I feel like the beautiful thing about the times we live in, when you think about it, people have gone through worse than we have, right? They've gone through wars. All things considered, this is not as bad. What has become bad is the government control. And that is something we have to be very aware and alert of. And the best way to deal with that is to just focus within and put out a frequency that can help support togetherness and unity and peace and love. Because for as long as we focus on all the division, and it's fucking crazy. I mean, it's hard not to, because when you see all the injustice going on and the cancel culture bullshit, it's really hard not to be angry. But it doesn't help the cause, because we're feeding more into the same energy and frequency, and that is no way out. The way out is the way through and changing the channel. We have the ability and the freedom to change the channel. So if you think something or you see something that is like making you not happy, change the channel, which then changes your frequency. And that is extremely important in the current climate we are in. Don't get sucked in to all the political bullshit, because that's what it is. I mean, if you think about all of the things that are going on, it is insanity. It is insanity. I'm not going to get into it because I could, and it's not going to be nice. But trust me, this is a very crazy time, and we have to do our best to focus on the best and to focus on the good. So with that said, I wish you guys a fantastic week, and make this, we just had a new moon, which is all about self-care, manifestation. Focus on all the things you want to manifest for yourself, for your friends, and also for the world. How would you like the world to see? And be very careful to not project anything towards people that you disagree with. That is not true manifestation. That is you're trying to control something or someone else, and that is just not right. So instead, focus on you, what you can do to make the world a better place. And it's never violence, it is never hatred, it is never anger. It's not, you know. It's the opposite. I love you guys. I will talk to you sometime this week. I don't even promise anymore when I'm gonna be on, because obviously I'm still in this freaking weirdo limbo. So I'm not even gonna try. However, I have some exciting news for my Patreons. I'm gonna be back on Patreon. I started doing burlesque again, which I absolutely love. It brings so much purpose and meaning into my life. You have no idea. So I want to continue doing that. I want to release some new music, which I've been working on and slacking on. And of course, I will bring you some more song critiques because there's so much great music out right now, in my opinion. Songs that really touch me and inspire me, and I want to share that with you guys. All right, you have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you very soon. In the comments below, let me know if you have and what you have manifested this year, and or what you would love to manifest if you haven't even tried. Maybe you were just too occupied, you know, worrying about stuff and not being able to focus on that. So I think this is still the right time to go within and take care of that. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.